You really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, motherfucker. What do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way. Close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Quan from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it. Hits it.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Going damn right, I'm ready to go. You guys good? Now, Wednesday edition, I'm always excited when I know I don't have to be in here. No, I'm just joking. When I know I'm on the road coming up tomorrow, we're going to be in Fishers, Brook School Road, Joe's Grill. Cannot wait to see you all out there. Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul, Tequila Shots coming at you. Week number 8. I guess I'm feeling good because I'm making some good choices. My choices have been strong. Even with disappointment, it almost feels like I've left a little bit on the table, too. Brook School Road, Joe's Grill. That's Nally and Miller and Brent Halverson. That means I hit up the Goodwill down in Geist. It is all good coming up tomorrow. Can't wait to see you. Today, however, lots of conversation going on regarding the Colts. Guys back at practice, guys not. Shane Steichen talks about Josh Downs. Concussion was out in a red jersey earlier today. The 21-day window is open for cornerback Jalen Jones. And I don't care. You still go out and try to get somebody if you can, and not just this waiver wire stuff. There's a reason why they're there if it's on the waiver wire. I know everybody had mentioned and got a little bit of an arousal yesterday out of, hey, there's Shaq Barrett. They worked him out. Now, go get somebody that is accomplishing something right now. You owe it to everybody to do it. You owe it to everybody to make this team better. And believe me, you can make this team better. And you can worry about next year. Worry about next year in the offseason. And still be employed at the same time, which is great. Ashton Doolan practice. Mike Chappell with those updates will join us coming up on tomorrow's show. That is good. We are busy today. Andrew Catalan of CBS is going to join us at the bottom of the hour, correct? We got that. I mentioned Omar Cooper Jr., fantastic dude from Lawrence North. He was a basketballer, which I love a great deal. But even more so right now, he's an accomplished and a high-level wide receiver. He's a footballer for the IU program. Number 2 IU and UCLA coming up at noon on Saturday. The party is on down in Bloomington. Some early risers down there. My man J-Law is going to have to get down there about 5 a.m. to have an adequate shot ski tailgate going on. I love it all, seriously. And that's just the excitement that it all brings. And there are some not so great, right? I mean, all of a sudden the prices go up. You know, it's tougher to go. You want it to be tough to go. A lot of you are saying, I can't go any longer because the ticket prices are too high. But, man, you got a program for the first time in stinking forever coming off of last year. Really the first time that you have been that level of proud. And now going into year number 2. You're feeling it, and why not? Omar Cooper Jr. is going to join us coming up at 5:30, right, James, today? 5:30 for Omar on this show. Kevin Bowen is going to talk Colts practice, going to talk Colts week number 8, matchup with the Titans, 425. We'll remind you exactly when we all have shows and yip-yap it up coming up on Sunday, coming up in a moment as well. But we got Kevin Bowen in the 4 o'clock hour, and Pacers general manager Chad Buchanan is going to join us coming up after 5. We shall discuss how I'm not the biggest fan at all of committees. And sure as hell not big fans of basketball-related committees. I know coaching search committees are hilarious. But committees as a backup point guard, committees as a big, well, we got this guy that does that and that guy that does this, and yeah, we're going to mixing and put it in a melting pot, and yeah. My hope is somebody at the 5 turns out to be somebody that you can ride hard. And frankly, I don't care who it is. I just think we know a lot about most of the participants here. That's problematic, but I don't care who it is. I'll be thrilled. Look at Gritty right here. Fun at an IU football game. She be drinking a beer and watching the game. She gets to go up and down on the redneck Audubon just don't joke, James. James looked at me really strange when I said that, Gritty. Blame it on James. The redneck Audubon from Vanderburgh County. No, seriously, it is good to see. Really is. Fun. I think we're having a pretty good time. And we do have to give a shout-out to the Pacers for kind of giving us a lead into a good time. I mean, an incredibly, historically good time. This past spring. I think everybody's having a pretty good time in football right now. And Boilermaker fans are going to say, well, what about us? Well, you're going to have to, again, earn that with Barry Odom. But you kind of knew what you're going to get. And then you have basketball as well, as we talked to Matt Painter on the show yesterday, that podcast at 1075thefan.com. Kentucky at Rupp Arena coming up on Friday night. You know, the reason behind that, the schedule pace that they take pre-Big Ten is impressive. You don't see a lot of teams doing that anymore. You got to like it. You know, he basically told us yesterday the reason why they are going to Kentucky on Friday is because they go to Alabama, what is that, November the 13th, somewhere in that neighborhood, I think, very early on in the season, they go to Tuscaloosa. So you want to see exactly what you have, even though you recognize everybody on this roster and your major participants are back. That senior class is what I'm talking about here. Your trio is back, but you do have to work in other dudes. And I thought he was incredibly honest about how good the conversation is about having 12 guys that can play. But we damn straight know that 12 guys aren't going to play. And if they do play, that's probably not great. 10 guys probably aren't going to play. And if they do play, that's probably not great. Now, you feel covered. And we'll see where they end up going redshirt-wise. We'll see what this team looks like. I thought the great point was with me yesterday, and that's how you know you got a good dude you're talking to. Says, you know, when you're with a team, you know, I also want to have fun. I want this to be enjoyable. You know, the players want this to be an enjoyable experience, and an enjoyable experience most of the time, you know, rides in with winning. But the coach also wants to have a little bit of fun, too. Doesn't want to be dragged down with all the problems of today. And most of the problems of today can be rectified, can be band-aided up with a certain amount of cash somehow, somewhere. But it is still not fun having to get through stuff. Now, you can win, but you also want it to be enjoyable. If you missed any of that conversation yesterday, really across the board, and the impact that the senior class has had on this program, and it sounds incredibly nerdy from me to bring up legacies, but I brought up especially Braden Smith in terms of how I bring up high school. Like, Braden Smith is a throwback of sorts here. And he's a throwback because you want to be able, now you're still being taken care of. You're still on a number one team. But he's going to maintain arguably the strongest legacy that you have seen up there. And to me, I'd mentioned this just going back to high school. You know, my legacy there, and I didn't accomplish anything unless it was losing or not getting to class on time or going to parties or staying out too late or just jackassing around. I guess that was it, right? Jackassing around, that was my legacy. Hey, he's a really fun guy, but he's a tremendous jackass. There's your legacy. But it was still important. And I think it's cool when it's important to players at that level. I think it's cool when it's important to high school players. You know, I get now going someplace else and sacrificing that legacy where you are in high school. I know that that's a part of it and a part of the decision-making, and I always thought it was just special being in that spot forever, and there's your legacy. Very few have that. Very few have that high school-wise. Very few have that at the collegiate level, and it is awesome when you see it. Matt Painter, any of it you missed yesterday, that podcast is readily available for you at 1075thefan.com. There is Nick from Digital right there. James, I was trying to figure out how to do that canvas thing earlier today. I was complete foobar. I was all over the place. I had a picture of me. It looked like I just got dragged out of a ditch. And I put it up there with everything. It didn't work. It was like one of those pictures I take on my phone, and it still had the date and time on, and I was just all over the ice.
You know, I'd like to see you try and learn Canva or
I was
Photoshop.
trying. I was laying in bed this morning, and my eyesight's become so bad. So if anybody out there, I need to have new parts, all new parts by the time I'm 60, and I'm well on my way. Eyeballs are next. I need some eyeballs. So I lay in bed and look at my phone through a magnifying glass.
Wait, were you trying to mess with it on your phone? Oh, John.
I was trying to do Canvas on my phone. Hey, Nick, did I completely blank it up? Because I bet I did.
No, I mean, it's recoverable. Definitely recoverable.
What a vote of confidence right there.
I don't think I cussed or anything, so that's good. Yeah, laying in bed looking at my phone. Like I always think there's zero way that I'm 55 because I don't act 55. There's nothing wrong with being my age, but I don't think I act it. But in this case, I act like I'm like 95. I'm like looking through a magnifying glass at my phone. I need new eyeballs. I need new eyeballs and new ears and a new nose. Not a new nose like a nose job, but what is that balloon sinuplasty thing that they used to advertise here? I need to do that.
I have no idea.
Yeah, because I had my nose broken twice when I didn't have any insurance whatsoever in the 90s and never got it fixed.
Oh, yeah. I guess it is. Looking at it, it is a little...
It's a little crooked.
Yeah.
It's cockeyed.
I never noticed that until just now.
My nose is cockeyed. That's why I always tilt my head, because then it looks normal. Matt Painter Podcast, 1075thefan.com. I mentioned Chad Buchanan coming up a little bit later on in the 5 o'clock hour as well. Is there anything you want me to ask Chad beyond what I already have on my agenda? You certainly can lob those questions in here, and we shall ask him about the start of the season. I was front and center last night for a little bit of NBA. I do want to give a shout-out. I know you guys may be sick, but you might as well get used to it because he's a friend of the show. Brooks Barnheiser was... by virtue of the game timing right there, the first rookie that played, logged a couple of minutes in that first half of OKC's double overtime win over Houston last night. Just understand this. There's rarely what you see in these first games, in the first month, for example, is what you're going to see at the tail end. Like, by now, Pacer fans should recognize this. Because last year, remember, I was like swinging my fist. Thanks, Nick, brother. I mean, I was shaking my fist and getting angry all the way up through like the first or second week of December. I remember sitting at Tom's Watch Bar. It was me and Lindsay and Gina and I think Chris Hagan, and we were watching that home game against Charlotte, and it may have been the worst Pacer performance I've ever seen. And I was thinking to myself, because I made all these proclamations, all these shouts skyward about how great the season was going to be and how you can count on it and how you run it back. And I was looking like an ass. It was not good. So I would remind you, and especially with this Pacer team, because you have a couple of different circumstances where they're going by committee, and that's not good. As I mentioned, committees aren't good in general. But certainly when you're talking about positional play on a basketball team, if you don't have one, you have none. And they don't have a 5, and they don't have a backup point right now. Until we see with our own eyeballs or through my magnifying glass that they do. And only then. But rarely early on in the season, and this is not a public service message on, hey, why you should stay connected or related to the Pacers. It is just true. Hey, listen, Vegas makes money hand over fist because they get you. And I know that we're talking 37.5 is the over-under on wins. And I'm sure Vegas is on to something. But I will also tell you that this Pacer team has done what's over recent history. They have proven folks wrong, whether it's Vegas or most of all of you out there. Not me. I've been right. But they've proven folks wrong. And they're going to need all the motivation early on in the world because you've got some dudes you're going to be going, hey, wait a minute, what? Who is this guy from Liberty running around out there right now? He looks like Simply Red. He can shoot? Seriously. So no public service message on why you should hang early on, but note this. It is going to get a lot of getting used to. And the start of the season schedule is ridiculous. And Adam Silver does kind of wear me out a little bit. He does wear me out a little bit. And the NBA too. And I know that you don't have your star and one of your significant others decided to defect to Milwaukee. By the way, the Bucks start the season later on tonight. They start against Washington. I mentioned this to Eddie Garrison when he was exiting. I said, you watch Miles tonight is against the Wizards. That's going to be a 20-11 game for him. Probably. And then everybody's going to be saying, I will tell you this, you will miss him. And I may be pissy about him right now, and I still a little bit am regarding his dialogue once he left. I don't care that he left. You leave. But, what he said I really didn't like. Be that as it may, you are still going to miss something that even when it wasn't going down or when there was not a block, there was at least that reputation there. And that served notice in the minds of those on the opposition. It just does. And not having that, that's the one thing I think you're going to see more so than anything else. It's going to be like a layup line until further notice. And hopefully somebody does step up and provides what Miles did. And you have to first show you can do it, and then you earn that particular reputation. Over 10 years, Miles had learned that reputation, or earned, I should say, that reputation. And there's something to be said about that because it's true. Pacers open up coming up tomorrow night. Yeah, I was going to get back to Adam Silver, too. You look at the promos. I guess this helps me revert back to one of the things I promised I would never do again, get bent out of shape because you don't get national recognition. But never in our lives have we seen an NBA Finals runner-up and a seven games in a final series runner-up, for that matter, get the lowest level of press or recognition the year after as we've seen this Pacer team. Honestly, with the NBA, it's almost like none of that crap happened. None of it happened. And much like the words of Miles when he talked about, I'm going to go to a team and, they want to get talented guys together. And I thought that was a backhanded swipe at guys that were still here and, frankly, carried his ass a couple of different times in the postseason when he wasn't doing anything. I didn't like it because I have a great deal of respect for those that are still here, those that accomplished what they did a year ago. Now, the one good thing about this, the one good thing about me Again, reverting back to something I'd promised you I'd never do again, worry about the lack of national coverage, that it does play a role, and we have seen it play a role for the Pacers. They take that motivation and they do something with it. They utilize it. They have in the past, so the hope is they can take that without a couple of significant pieces and do a little something regarding all of these monumental slights. Again, in the history, you have never seen an NBA Finals runner-up get this little of recognition. It's like last year, last summer, it didn't exist. I mean, it's almost like the Knicks were playing instead of the Pacers. Seriously. I got to see Jalen Brunson kissing his 3 fingers all the time. Mikal Bridges bricking some shots and celebrating over that. I used to like him. I think he sucks now. But again, I promise you I've never go that direction again, and I won't. But I will say that maybe there's a layer of motivation that can be had, and what we have witnessed over the years with this group, they have grabbed on to motivation and utilized it. So I think that's hopefully can be a helper. But it is not even talking about Christmas Day games or anything like that, but just in any promo, it's like, hey. It was like the Pacers with Nate Bjorkgren as the head coach. All right, quick break. We shall return. So Andrew Catalon's going to be here at the bottom of the hour. Did he readjust or did we readjust right there? He's got the game call on Sunday. Andrew Catalon of CBS has the Titans and the Colts 425 coming up on Sunday. Andrew's going to join us coming up at the bottom of the hour. So, yeah, if you recognize he's coming on a Wednesday at 3:30, that means he's not going to show up at Gigi's Bar and Grill on Friday. We've been trying to drag him out to be the bad influence for a number of years now. Andrew Catalon of CBS, bottom of the hour. Kevin Bowen of this here morning show coming up at the 4 o'clock hour. Omar Cooper Jr. today, IU wide receiver at 5:30. Chad Buchanan, Pacers general manager, coming up at 5. There's zero reason not to hang. The updates, the info you need to be able to listen coming up on Sunday. I have that before me. We'll rattle that off to you coming up in just a minute, too. More Bullseye passes, bullseyeeventgroup.com. The Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. Log on, get your passes right now. If you don't win, don't fret. You can still log on and be a part of it. All you can eat, all you can drink, the best pregame party absolutely anywhere. BullseyeEventGroup.com. And the Colts VIP tailgate. What else we got, too? I mentioned college basketball, the college football stuff. We're all over the map, too. The World Series, not yet underway. Blue Jays and I do dig it, Blue Jays and Dodgers. And the Blue Jays do bring to the table something that is significant, and that is a whirlwind of offensive potential. And it may just not be about the Dodgers raking and pitching and pitching and raking and then, winning in 6 games. All right, that and more. 239-1070 is that number. The text line number, 317-239-1070. The stream, the app, it's HD Radio, AAA. That's AAA.com. Matt and Matt will make sure you get where you're going. Somebody's got your back on the open road. Become a AAA member today. It is incredibly easy. Log on, AAA.com, the AAA Membership Lounge. I'll say hello and good afternoon to you on this Wednesday. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
steam ahead. Over there. I want to go over there. Move over, Swanson. I'm driving.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
This is an incredibly proud moment in the history of this station right here. As I sit here before you, talking to the fives of you listening to this show from 3 until 6, if you're paying attention in the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, you will notice that my fat picture is finally gone. No more fat picture. What are we going to do without my fat picture? I like that one right there. That one looks like I look like maybe I'm in a late 80s new wave band right there.
I can see it, yeah. Nick did a good job.
Am I in? I think I look like I'm in New Order. John Marr. I get a cross between Morrissey and John Marr between the Smiths right there.
That is very 80s coded right there. That's awesome.
Wait a minute. Is that the Pet Shop Boys? Is that Chris Lowe or Neil Tennant? Which one is it? No more fat picture.
All you really need is to stick the parental advisory thing at the bottom and you're good to go right there.
So for Premier Weight Loss, we need to put the fat picture next to that one. Seriously.
Yeah.
Go back. Now you can get back to an actual fat picture of me right there, can't you?
Yep.
That picture, the fat me looks like I ate the skinny me. Like moments before that picture was taken.
Let the lounge see this real quick.
Lord have mercy. Hey, shout out to my what's this? Is this yellow? It's very urine-y color right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It almost matches the
You blend in with the wall, yeah.
The decor of the wall in studio. Hey, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he is incredibly proud to be listening in on this show right now. He's got the call CBS with the Titans and the Colts coming up on Sunday at 4:25. Our good friend Andrew Catalan is here. Hello, Andrew.
I'm so glad I can be with you during this historic moment in show history with the fat picture being gone.
The fat picture is no longer with us. It is a proud moment, Andrew. Seriously.
No, we'll remember this day in this program for sure. We'll write this one down.
Hey, buddy, thank you for sharing this moment with me.
Yeah, I'm proud to be here with this moment.
I'm still trying to work you out to a live bar remote one of these days so my bad influence intentions can thoroughly take over. But clearly the timing has yet to work on that, has it?
It has not, and with a 4:25 Eastern time game Sunday, things in my schedule a little different this weekend too. But we're going to keep trying.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen this time, but it will happen at some point in time.
One of these days for real. How about the timing of Daniel Jones after 6 seasons, and you're around the New York City area right there, and I'm sure that you knew all the backdrop, everything that was said, all that was going on, the reasons being, all but basically 1 year of the 6 seasons in New York didn't work out for him. But how about the timing from 1 year to the next with Daniel Jones here in Indy?
Amazing, and I love what he said in the post-game interview last week on CBS about how you guys didn't know what you were talking about if you're surprised by our success. I love that because you don't really hear too much of that from him, as you already know, 7 games in. But, he's really played it close to the vest in his career. He's not a guy who wants to be in the limelight. But it was great to hear that. I think that's a sign that he's really feeling confident and happy and content where he is, as he should be. I mean, the Colts are a tremendous story. You can talk about Daniel for MVP or JT for MVP all you want, but I'm here to bang the drum for Shane Steichen as Coach of the Year. I mean, I think that he is doing a tremendous job putting the Colts in these good positions offensively, and that's taking nothing away from Daniel or Jonathan or the rest of the team, but I'm really impressed by the coaching job from Shane so far this year.
He is Andrew Catalan of CBS, has the call coming up on Sunday. Again, that kick is at 4:25. I think the one thing that you notice if you've watched enough Colts games here is compared to what we have seen in the first 2 years with Shane Steichen, the playbook is wide open. Every single page, every single paragraph is wide open now, and that has not been the case in the first couple of years here.
Yeah, and I was in Tennessee last week, and with Cam Ward, and they told us that they were trying to simplify the playbook for the rookie and that they were going back to things that they did really well in training camp to try to jumpstart their offense. And those were the types of things that Shane had to do, in my opinion, over the last couple of years with Anthony Richardson. And he doesn't have to do that with Daniel Jones, who's now in his 7th year. And I think that ability to have Daniel make more decisions than he did with a younger quarterback the last couple of years. Now you're able to see what Shane is able to develop and scheme and game plan, and I think that's making a huge difference right now.
All right, Jonathan Taylor or Daniel Jones, where would you lean? And is it just a lean toward Daniel Jones because positionally speaking, that is always kind of the MVP first stop conversation right there? Because I happen to think that Jonathan Taylor is where you start. He is such a high level and a consummate guy doing what he does with or without the quarterback, but he is much better with this particular quarterback. But where would you lean?
Yeah, we don't agree often on our chats, but I agree with you. I would give it to Jonathan Taylor right now, and that's taking nothing away from Jones. But the way that JT is running, and I think people are starting to take notice, too, of this offensive line and how great of a job they are doing. But I think the way that Taylor is running, his game-changing ability, the numbers he's putting up are incredible. I would lean that way. Again, we're in week 8, so we got a long way to go. And I know that over time in history, the quarterback position usually gets the benefit of the doubt if there's a close race in an MVP vote. But I would, if I had a vote today, I would give it to Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, he's been so good as well. And what you have seen with the opening of the playbook, the coaching of Shane Steichen, the quarterbacking of Daniel Jones, what you have seen is this offense overall better. But where would you slot the rookie tight end and level of importance? Because Tyler Warren has been so good so far this season.
It's amazing. I mean, he's really been a true difference maker. The way that they're able to get him in space and use him in creative ways throughout their offense is fascinating to watch. He's a major matchup problem for a defense. And what do you do if you're a defense? All right, you want to take away Jonathan Taylor, then you got Tyler Warren. All right, we're going to try to take him away. Well, we could take the top off with Alec Pierce. I mean, there's so many ways that this Colts offense can beat you right now. And Tyler Warren, I think, is a big reason for it because he's just proven to be so dangerous in open space that defenses are taking more note, and that's opening up avenues for other players to make an impact. And that's why they're averaging 33 points a game, which is, the best.
When you watch him play, it looks like that they could utilize him even more for a higher productive level, yet they're so capable of spreading the ball around that they don't. And granted, they put him in a lot of different situations, but I'm talking about throwing to him more because it does not appear as of yet through 7 weeks of the season that really anybody's defense has figured out how to cover this rookie.
Yeah, so I was there in week 1, and I was looking at my notes from that game against Miami, and I wrote down on my notes that Anthony Weaver, the Dolphins defensive coordinator, and this was prior to the opener, said he's, quote, Gronkish, as in Rob Gronkowski. And I think that's a great comparison. I think that, this guy is really changing the way that the Colts run their offense. And for Weaver to say that before we even seen him play a regular season game, unfortunately for the rest of the league, has been prophetic. But, I really, he's a fun guy to watch. And the way that Steichen has been able to use him in so many different ways is really what's made this Colts offense so fun to watch.
He is Andrew Catalon's got you on CBS at 4:25 coming up on Sunday for the Titans and the Colts in week number 8. You mentioned Cam Ward last week. Have you noticed any improvement in any area with the team that basically at 1-6 has not been good so far and made a coaching change and looking to the future with this squad, obviously. But have you seen any signs of raising of the game of the rookie quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, we were there, and obviously a turbulent week last week with the firing of Brian Callahan. Little things. I mean, this kid can make every throw, and he's not afraid to make any throw. And I think that's part of the problem. He still feels that he can go out there and make any play, and they're trying to tell Cam Ward, look, you don't have to throw it into a tight window every time. Not every play has to be a home run. We're okay with the 4-yard check down. We'll take that. So there was a little bit more of that last week. He wasn't as dangerous, adventurous, if you will, than he was. Now, he still made mistakes. He still threw an interception. He still lost the football, which immediately led to a touchdown. You're still seeing those rookie mistakes, but those are the little things they're looking for out of him. Throw it to the running backs. And, last week, Tony Pollard had 6 catches, which was the most of any player on the Titans. So those are little signs that he's doing more, but still the turnovers are a major problem for Ward and the Titans.
Andrew, if there's any threat with this Titans squad whatsoever coming up here on Sunday, what might it be? Other than, I guess, the Colts making mistakes or complacency, which is something you don't expect.
Yeah. Well, it just sounds like Jeffrey Simmons is they said, going to need some time, or week to week was Mike McCoy's phrasing at a press conference today. That to me is a huge, huge loss for Tennessee if he's not able to go. He changes everything about their defense, and I saw that last week as soon as he went out in the first quarter with the hamstring injury. It opened up so much for New England on offense. So, I think you're right. It's complacency. It's, division battle. Do the Titans get up, try to win one for McCoy? But, with the injuries that Tennessee has right now, this is a tough ask for them on the road.
It's a very special moment for our guest, Andrew Catalan of CBS. As I announced when I brought him on the show that my fat picture has been changed in the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live. Historic moment we're having right here.
Yeah.
And we're celebrating it. Thank you for being a part of that.
Well, honestly, it was my pleasure to be a part of this big moment. And I can't see the fat picture or the skinny picture for that matter, but hopefully one day I can get my hands on it.
Yeah, the skinny picture looks like I need to be in an 80s new wave band with not the flock of seagulls, but kind of like Pet Shop Boyish right here.
That's but you are a DJ on the weekend.
I am, yeah. I am, in fact.
So there you go. That works well.
I've got the brains. You've got the looks. Let's make lots of money. Opportunities. The Pet Shop Boys reference right there. Hey, can't wait.
I like it.
One of these days we'll see you out at a bar live on a Friday. But until then, man, thanks for hopping on here as you normally do. Have a great call coming up on Sunday. Safe travels here to Indy. And we'll do this again soon. Andrew, thank you very much.
You got it. Thanks so much.
Andrew Catalan of CBS on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I've got the brains. You've got the looks. Let's make lots of money. Opportunities, right? That's the Pet Shop Boys. Lyrical Wizardry, Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe. Oh, I think Chris Lowe was a part of a band called Electronic that was even better at times. A little mixture of New Order and Pet Shop Boys in it. Yeah, I know. I'm talking to people out there and they're going, what is this crazy fool talking about? AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. You can check it out for yourself right now, too. 317-239-1070. That is the text line. My man Dave Hammer says, check out Christy Eye Care, 6845 Bluff Road at Bluff and Southport. I'm looking for new eyeballs. Shout out to Colin. I think my lack of vision right now is affecting a lot of things, including my, shall I say, broke-ass jumper. JMV, I'm trying one last time. This is Michael from Behringer's, and you told me that I could get to the pregame. Write this down for me. Michael from Behringer's. Michael's going to have to send me his last name here, but yes, I did tell Michael from Behringer's. Michael, you're going. You're going. You won those at Behringer's last week. Michael from Behringer's on South Meridian is going to go. I've got more for you, too. Bullseye, eventgroup.com, Colts VIP tailgate passes. More coming up, too. The 6th listener here, I noticed the upgraded pick right away. Well done. Shout out to Nick and Digital and James over there for making it happen as well. Kevin Bowen, top of the hour. Omar Cooper Jr., IU wide receiver in the 5 o'clock hour. And Pacer general manager Chad Buchanan as well. Chase Briscoe on the show coming up tomorrow. From Mitchell, Indiana. One Talladega, NASCAR in the chase for the championship. That and more with Chase Briscoe to start the show. That is coming up tomorrow. Stream the app, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
1075, The Fan.
Spreadability of Win Schuler's. Have you found it yet? The Meyer locations, convenient to you in central Indiana. Spreadability of original sharp cheddar, bacon, and cheddar. Oh, the favorite jalapeno pepper, everybody. And spreadability of Win Schuler's. Elite level snack in Win Schuler's 2025 football and fall season. NBA as a buttload. That's a lot of games tonight. Now, I don't know this to be true. There's still an NBA full court or whatever it is, season ticket pass on DirecTV. And does it still start the season free? Can anybody tell me this? I'll be damned. I would love to get something one of these days from DirecTV free, considering how much I pay monthly, which is absurd, embarrassing. Because I can't lie, I am interested to see the former 33, now 3, participate for the Sucks later on tonight. The Wizards and the Bucks at 8 o'clock. And I'm not going to pay anybody to watch it, but if it just pops up for free, if it's free, it's me. Yeah, otherwise, the ESPN broadcast, the Cavaliers and the Knicks, that is the early performance, and the late game, the Spurs and the Mavericks. There was really nothing I didn't think more boring than the Warriors and the Lakers last night. And maybe that comes on the heels of a double overtime win by the Thunder to start the season against the Rockets. That was fun. I still say the lack of point guard is going to get the Rockets. It may not have shown that much last night, but at some point I think that's going to get them. And maybe I shouldn't be. I'm just a non-believer in adding Kevin Durant and making yourself into a championship team. Now you're going, well, what happened in Golden State? But, I mean, come on now. You had primes with two dudes, being Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and two dudes and a head coach. I just think it's different right now. And it has been different because everywhere he has gone, it's not turned out anywhere near here recently the way that they thought it was going to be. Good game nonetheless. Pacers fire up things. That is coming up on Thursday right here. Welcoming in Brooks Barnheiser, the rookie from Lafayette Jeff. It was awesome to see him get out there last night. It was not awesome to see him get matched up with Sengun twice, and then they have to send help. I didn't really understand that, but Thunder and Pacers, what Sengun, I think, went for, is he the best 5 in the league with the Rockets? One of the better ones? It's funny, he's not the most athletic dude, but he has got, as Tom Cruise would say, all the right moves. He's got the footwork and everything. Thunder Pacers tomorrow night, 7:30. Nuggets and Warriors. That is a double dip on ESPN coming up tomorrow night. Nuggets and Warriors, the late one at 10 o'clock. Have fun at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and then the Pacers embark on a long West road trip against some tough teams. Chris Cox says KD is still that guy. He's been that guy to crap up your team. Maybe he doesn't crap up this one. Seriously, he has. Or I should say that. I'll take it back. I'll take that back. He's not added what those, especially in Phoenix. I mean, he didn't add anything in Phoenix. We'll see. Brian says you're paying so much for direct because you're the only one left who hasn't. That is so true. Am I the only one left that has DirecTV right now? Does anybody out there other than me have DirecTV? Does anybody else out there have a DirecTV, a Betamax, cassette recorder, an Atari 2600? and an Amana radar range and a wall-hanging rotary dialing phone. Anybody else with a really long cord? Nobody have that? I'm the only one. Kevin Bowen, top of the hour. Nothing at the bottom, but Chad Buchanan after 5, Pacers general manager, and Omar Cooper Jr., IU wide receiver, set to join us at 5:30. The stream, the app, it's HD Radio, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. BullseyeEventGroup.com, Colts VIP tailgate pass is also coming up as well. 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
Takes him a second to get on the stool because he's under 5 feet tall.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All the texts are coming in right now at 317-239-1070 for those bullseye passes. Mike in Brooklyn chimes in. So I've had DirecTV since 1995 to watch the Colts. Was probably the first in my neighborhood. Paid like $700 for the dish to still have it, even though they don't have Sunday Ticket anymore. Too lazy to switch. I think that's part of my issue right there. Mike, too lazy to switch. Man, I pay too much. JMV, I have a DirecTV stream, and yes, the NBA League Pass is free. The 22nd through the... Oh, I get to watch Miles later on tonight. What is more likely to happen in his debut for the Bucks later on tonight? Stinking most of the time in the NBA Finals, Miles, or, hey, there's Miles playing pretty well. What are we going to see?
I think you're going to see him play pretty well. It's not the NBA Finals.
They play the Wizards.
Yeah.
So we're going to see like a 20-11. I will tell you this. They are going to miss him, and among the things they miss right now, because you've got a couple of different things by committee, especially at the pivot, that is one. And if for nothing else, even if you go out there and you miss everything and you don't block anything, the threat of doing both is a hell of a lot more than what you can cobble together with what you have in bigs right now. Until further notice. It'll probably be a 20-11 night. Wouldn't you guess? JMV, do NFL networks doing games adjust their booth team as the season progresses? The Colts might have had 4 or 5 teams scheduled early in the season and may adjust to a 1 or 2 team, mainly Fox and CBS. Yeah, I mean, it will later on in the season, and it will certainly adjust when the schedule gets better. And, this is kind of with Andrew and company. And Andrew mentioned he was in Nashville last week for the Titans and New England. I'm assuming some flexing will happen at some point, too. JMV, what I'm wondering is how in the world did the Colts try to sell us on an even battle between Jones and Richardson all offseason? It's obvious that Jones is so good playing for Steichen and how smart he is, how good his decision-making is. Seems crazy to think they tried to sell the evenness of the battle, Heather and CG. Well, how about me? I'm the one that said fire everybody back in January. There you go. Fire everybody. I was sick of it. Fire everybody. I think, Heather, what that does outline, and I hate to say it, but in full detail, what it does show you is how bad Anthony Richardson was at playing quarterback for this team. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline, and on a very bright note, he's very happy that I bring him onto the show right now. From the morning show, one of the trio, along with James Boyd and Jeff Rickard, Kevin Bowen, the Fan Morning Show, 7 until 10 a.m. weekday mornings here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Seriously speaking, that's what it comes down to, right? It's just one guy that absolutely wasn't going to work, and this guy that seemingly for the first 7 weeks of the season has fit perfectly, right?
No Paul Anka today?
Yeah, I know. I yapped too long. I tell you what we can do, though. We don't necessarily have to do it in conventional fashion. We can add it over the course of the conversation, if that's okay. Yeah, I yapped too long. I was going on about me and DirecTV and reading some stuff, and I kind of jacked around a little bit too much. My bad.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have even opened that up.
You were like the Daniel Jones, and I was like the Anthony Richardson right here. I was messing around a little bit.
What would the Colts record be with Anthony Richardson right now?
Well, just going by past history, where do you think they'd be? 2-5?
You think they'd be that bad?
Maybe.
I mean, they were 8-7 with him in his career. If you want to go off of the old win-loss record, I think we came to the conclusion they'd be 4-3.
How do they start the season with him?
Yeah, that Miami, I don't know.
Because that's one thing that I finally did shake, Kev, is the start of the season crap. And he wasn't helping it either. They barely survived Denver anyway, so they don't survive that. Let's just say. We saw what happened last year. Although they were close last year, and then Taylor dropped the football. Well, I don't know. I would say I guess I'm apprehensive to believe. It seems like that they are so good now. And the common denominator was the relationship with Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen that I would probably take the under on most things.
Yeah, I mean, certainly they would be nowhere near 6-1 and as dominant as they've been. I mean, Jones just, I wrote for our website this week, and I don't know, part of me, like when I was writing, I'm like, this sounds a little bit too cliche, but I just think it's two football nerds beyond obsessive over the Monday through Saturday grind, and they're playing chess and their opponents are playing checkers. And I get at some point, it has to extend a little bit more than just, you're out preparing the other team. But I think that is a huge, huge part of it. I mean, how many dudes are just wide ass open right now? I mean, it's not even, not high school. I mean, it honestly is. Some of it is high school open or college open with, some of these guys and, great balance to the offense too. I mean, I think that stands out. I mean, obviously Tyler Warren's presence helps, but still so much of it is just, Jones and Steichen on the same page. I mean, it's pretty historic what they've done.
You know what? Instead of, this is very Jake Query-esque of me, my apologies. But you worked with the dude for a while, so you understand this too, because he does wear off on us a little bit. Not wear us out, but wear off on us a little bit. I want to say, how about it was, you said chess over checkers. How about we say Stratego over sorry or canasta over Uno? What do you think?
And now we've derailed the segment. And
yes, exactly. We'll
go,
yeah.
We'll go board games the rest of the way.
We'll say Xbox over Atari 2600. Xbox over Atari 2600.
yeah, exactly. We'll go, iPad over Game Boy to bring it up to the millennial version here. So,
man, somewhere Jake is. I guarantee you he's listening right now. He's pumping his fist. He's going, man, that sounds exactly like me. I'm wearing off on these guys.
He's like, the old 253 crossover has never worked out so well in my life.
Oh man, that is excellent. I honestly, even with the screw-ups of A.D. Mitchell and losing that game in L.A. a couple of weeks back, you look at this all the way around. The one good thing about it is you could not have asked for a better start, unless you have a wide receiver that doesn't screw up in that capacity and you're unbeaten. However, I think what's good is these games have really outlined what you absolutely, Kev, have to do and go out and make better prior to the trade deadline if you're Chris Ballard. I mean, does it not? Seriously, it slaps you right in the grill, does it not? What is necessary for this team to get, and now is the time.
Yeah, I mean, the schedule I thought was definitely front-loaded in your favor. I should probably clear that up. I mean, if you look at the schedule, it's kind of wild. They obviously play at home on Sunday. That's the only home game they have until after Thanksgiving. And then after that, I think it's Houston they host, I believe, November 30th. They don't have another home game until that Monday nighter against San Francisco. So, the schedule definitely set up for a lot of home early. I'd say in general, just worse teams. I think once you get through Tennessee, a lot more away from home and then, even some better overall opponents. But, I thought, okay, would you have some defensive growing pains? And I get the defense hasn't been, by any means perfect, but it also hasn't been awful either. And so I think that has helped you out in getting off to this start. When you look at the acquisitions, again, we brought up Warren earlier. Obviously, Cam Bynum and when Travarius Ward has been out there, those two have been everything you would want as well. And those were, different approaches, particularly Bynum and Ward from an offseason standpoint with Chris Ballard spending in free agency on some outside names. So, to me, 6-1 is 6-1, but it's the sheer dominance of, you are the number one point differential team in the NFL, 92. Like, we debated this briefly today, and you can certainly remember it. But go back to 2019, the Colts started 5-2 that year. 5-2 was only one game difference in 6-1. But I guarantee you, if we brought up your radio show in week 8 of the 5-2 2019 start and compared it to your tone this week, it wouldn't even be comparable.
Yeah, because they've been dominant. They've been dominant, Kev, offensively.
Right.
This is a dominant juggernaut of a group, regardless of who they played.
Right, and that 2019 year was a bunch of one-possession wins, and you felt like it was fool's gold, and Jacoby was going to regress. And, to be fair to Jacoby, he did get hurt, against Pittsburgh, and then you had Brian Hoyer for a game and a half, and then it just kind of derailed after that. Vinatieri had, was his leg going to fall off? I mean, he was struggling. So, we don't talk about any of that right now. I mean, sure, you have a pass rush, whatever, corner, trade deadline debate, but that's really it. I mean, that's the only thing. Like, to me, the NFL always humbles you. It just the NFL is the king of the professional sports league in terms of humbling. But even on offense right now, like if you said Daniel Jones regressed a little bit, well, they still have an MVP running back right now. If Jonathan Taylor, whatever, turns an ankle and is out in a couple weeks, their passing offense is clicking on all cylinders right now. I mean, that to me is what really stands out. Just unbelievable offensive balance, can beat you in multiple ways. I think it's just so hard to defend the Colts right now.
Who's the rookie of the year so far?
I mean, it should be Warren. It won't be because, I get how these people vote on awards, and then they vote for quarterbacks, and then they vote for probably running backs, and they vote for wide receivers, and they get to tight ends. Now, I do think Warren had a lot of hype around him entering the league, so I think that should help him. If Jackson Dart just gets hot for a month, or even Cam Ward, weirdly, they might win it, and then the kid for Tampa Bay, Ibuka from Ohio State. I mean, he has had a really nice rookie year, but to me, when you start debating these awards with the Colts, I think Steichen definitely should be the favorite for Coach of the Year. Vrabel, I get you can make a case for. To me, I think Warren is the clear rookie of the year, even though he won't win it. MVP, to me, I can listen to the Baker Mayfields of the world. I mean, Mahomes and Allen, I don't know. There's an element of like, don't they win it every year? Aren't they up there every year? And, is that fair for me to just discredit that? I mean, Drake May's had a hell of a season so far as well. I'd probably vote Joe, purely MVP. If you make me pick the acronym, I'd probably vote Jones over Taylor, but Taylor, has been just unbelievable and probably is your best overall player.
Yeah, it's funny too. 14th overall with that production, and I would fair guess with all the rookies that you just talked about that at moments during the first 7 weeks of their respective seasons that they have been found out and been dealt with defensively, whereas the defenses we have seen so far for Warren, they have zero answers on him right now. None.
I couldn't believe it was one of the first couple plays of the game. Like, they run that bootleg, and there he is, just wide open. It just takes off down the sideline for like a, 25-yard gain. And I'm like, man, I like, how do you not just circle him at some point? Like, to me, and I get they're very balanced, and Pierce can hit home runs, and, Pittman can be consistent, and Downs is so good on third down, but like, especially in a game last week when Downs didn't play, I mean, the fact that Warren still impacted the game to the level that he did, it's just amazing to me. So, I mean, the variety of ways that he's utilized, and Shane has been so creative, I think, and, even that Taylor touchdown, it looked like on that play they had a Warren shovel pass coming off of that. Again, is that something that they'll go to at some point this season that we still haven't really seen them use, kind of wildcat Warren, which Penn State used a whole lot of? Is that something that they're saving for, later in the year? So, it's been everything that I thought it would be, but, probably even a little bit more than that, even though it's pretty high on them coming into the season.
So is this window for Jalen Jones just cracked, or what are we thinking about with this? Plus, I want to add, are we sure that Jalen Jones is, to the Colts, a fit for what they want to do at that level defensively upon his real return here? Is he solidified with this group?
I've got some skepticism there. I think it's a fair point to bring up.
Yeah.
Lou Anarumo, didn't seem to be all over Jalen Jones. And really, there was several in-house guys that Gus Bradley, coached that I don't think he was all over. Now, I think Jalen Jones deserves a great chance. I mean, to me, he was a seventh-round pick, but I think he's been a nice corner in the league, and I'm not just saying that because he's a seventh-round pick. I think he can be a starting outside cornerback for a good football team. I think he had shown that so far in his career. But, if you remember, John, they brought in Xavier Howard even when Jones was getting back. So, how much of that is Lou and his relationship with Howard? So, yes, that is a question that I have. How much practice does he need? I almost look at this week. You could probably look at this week one of two ways. One, you could look at it and say, hey, this could be a great week to sprinkle Jalen Jones in there for whatever, a dozen or so snaps. And, hell, with how the fourth quarters have gone in some of these games of the season, you might be playing your backups at that point, and that's a great opportunity for him. Or you could say, hey, let's get him a full week of practice. The hamstring injury has been aggravated already once. Do you sit here and say, hey, we've got Pittsburgh and we've got Atlanta, a little bit more potent teams coming up in the next couple of weeks. Do you hold him out for a week? But nonetheless, I think it's great that he's back, especially because Javarius Ward, we know, is going to miss 3 more games. But when everyone's healthy, I am curious exactly how that will go for him, because I didn't think Lou Anarumo viewed him in the highest light before this.
It's Kevin Bowen, the Fan Morning Show, the trio. I think a duo tomorrow because Jeff is going to be on the road, so it's you and James, right?
Correct, yes. Jeff to Charlotte. I think he left late this afternoon. So, yeah, he's out tomorrow and Friday.
Gotcha. All right. Fan Morning Show, 7 until 10 a.m. here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. This is older than you. This date, yesterday. What's today's date? Hell. Is it today the 21st or 22nd? 21st?
22nd.
Okay, so yesterday was the date. And I sent this out, I think, earlier today. October the 21st, 1984. It was the Ray Butler 54-yard game-winning touchdown against the Steelers. You remember that?
No.
For the Colts? Yeah. And the reason why I bring this up is twofold. One, I think it was the only highlight for the Colts they had in like their first 5 years here. Like the only highlight was that. And secondly, it was highlighted itself in, if you remember, one of the features the NFL had back in the day called the Alcoa Fantastic Finishes. Do you remember that?
Gosh, no. What year was the Butler play? I feel like
1984. October 21st, 1984. And that was literally the lone highlight of, I think, the first, 5 seasons here? The lone highlight. Any highlight you ever saw?
I feel like Pete Ward would always tell me about the Monday night game with Dickerson. What year would that have been?
Oh, that was 88, I think. 88 or 89. 88 or 89 right there, right? So, yeah. It was.
Maybe it was their first Monday night game. I feel like that's like the first time they ever felt like they were on the map. What would Pete
Ward know, by the way? Anyway.
yeah, exactly. Take the Eastern Green guy over the man that came over on the Mayflower.
Man, he did. It literally came over on the real Mayflower is what Pete Ward came over on, I think. No, seriously, October 21st, 1984, Alcoa's Fantastic Finishes. That was, Kev, a precursor to the IBM You Make the Call feature. I'm sure you remember that in the 90s, right? 80s, 90s?
IBM, You Make the Call.
Man,
gosh,
Kev.
I'm a little vague on that. I mean, I was born in 89.
I know.
How young are we going here?
I know. But, I still recognize things that happen. I was born in December of 69, and, I know Andy Griffith's show stuff had happened in 1962, so, right?
Well,
that fair?
I think I'm an old soul, but you take it to another level. Now, we did have this debate on the morning show on the 9 o'clock hour, and I would love your input.
Yes.
Up until Sports Illustrated stopped going weekly, so what would that have been? I don't know, 17, 18, something like that.
Right.
I have every issue of Sports Illustrated since 99. Since 2001. My 6th grade English teacher, Carl Kinnear, shout out to him. He had all the covers across the wall, and I was obsessed with it. So I'm like, all right, I'm doing this. And, we are welcoming a 3rd child in to the world, hopefully here in a couple weeks. Very fortunate about that. But Maddie gave me the look as we tried to, clean up the house a little bit. The Sports Illustrateds, what are we doing with them?
Oh, you keep them. No, here's you. Yeah, tell Brad Bowen to clear out a little space in the shed because I know he has one, and you keep them and treat it like I treated my Playboys. There's way too much. I had way too much history with my Playboys, like you did with your Sports Illustrateds, to ever part with them. Okay? So, Brett, seriously. Hey, Grandpa Bowen, he's got a shed. Find a spot in a box in the shed and keep him. You don't part with him.
Yeah, well, I'm picturing the gold safe you have your Playboys in.
For a number of years, they were under hay bales in my grandpa's barn in the loft.
You're opening up the whatever Tyra Banks on the swimsuit issue.
Bo Derek and cornrows. Hold on a second. I'm going to get off track if I'm not careful here. There was so much self-gratifying going on there, I can't even explain it. It was incredible.
So I can go home and tell Matty Bowen that JMV has given me advice, and he's saying there's no chance that we're tossing those out.
I love Matty Bowen, but I would completely disagree. You do not toss him out. And again, put the onus on Grandpa. Grandpa Bowen's got to step up here and defend the Sports Illustrateds.
I mean, they have, so the house that I grew up in, they moved out of when I was in college. So as they downsized, and they, said, all right, we'll keep the Sports Illustrateds for a little bit, but once you obviously get into a home, and I delayed, and then I, realized, all right, I'm getting older. Hell, I'm getting a hair transplant. I should probably take the Sports Illustrated back. So.
Well, wait a minute. They can just kick Ryan Bowen out of his room finally.
Well, he is. I mean, he's up in Zion's. I mean, hell.
Wait a minute. I thought he still lived at home. I thought he still lived at home.
No. He's in Zion. So
he's going to love this. Going to love it. Yeah, he goes, why am I taking strays in this conversation here? What?
He actually texted me a bit ago. He said he ran into Lance Stevenson at a local LA Fitness. I'm like, man, is Lance getting ready to be the backup point guard tomorrow night?
Oh, the backup point guard by committee is like the 5 by committee. I don't like it. I'm going to explain that to Chad Buchanan coming up here in about 30 minutes. I don't like the committee stuff. I don't like it.
Yeah. I heard you say that yesterday, and I was nodding my head at that.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Well, Sports Illustrated will be kept. I can assure you of that. So I don't know what they will be done with moving forward, but no, we can't. I love my wife, and the sacrifices she makes for our family are incredible. Yes. And carrying our child is no chance I could do it. She's amazing. But no, the Sports Illustrateds need to be kept.
Hey, Kev, man, you don't have to be a Hallmark card right here. We can speak truthfully on this show. It's okay.
I love how you go down an octave in your voice. You sound like Shane Steichen answering an injury question.
Oh, man, I love it. All right, tell the fam I said hello, but keep the Sports Illustrateds, okay?
Hey, when are we going? We got Ale coming up, don't we?
Yes. Are you going?
Yeah, when is that? Next week?
I don't know. It's when is that? I got to look that up. I think it is next week, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
I'm doing a live show at the Goodwill in Carmel coming up on Tuesday of next week too.
Oh wow! Well, I had a little incident where I ran from the cops back in the day. I had to do a couple of shifts at Goodwill in Carmel.
Wait a minute. That's right. You couldn't say anything about Cam Jones did because hell, you did it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, but unfortunately,
you didn't bring that up to Rick. Why didn't you bring that up to Rick Carlisle yesterday? Say, I did that once upon a time too. What happened?
Yeah, I could have used Rick Carlisle, frankly, back in the day.
I know you could have said, he was just speeding.
Yes. Right, I know. It's a long story. We'll save it for another day.
Man, it's well done. And tell the fam I said hello, and we'll see you at the Ale, certainly. And again, save the SIs, okay, brother?
All right. Thanks, John.
It's Kevin Bowen, the Fan Morning Show. Just like I did my Playboys. Never parting ways with the Bo Derek one. Ooh, the Jane Kennedy one. Oh. Was that one of the Victoria Principal too, or is that We? You ever have any We's back then? OU. I used to call it OUI because I was a hillbilly.
Nah.
It was called We. There was a men's magazine, OUI, but I took Spanish, by the way. The French pronunciation is We, but I called it OUI because I'm a hillbilly.
Very Greene County of
Yeah,
you.
very Greene County of me right there. Hey, quick one, we'll come back. Top of the hour, Chad Buchanan is going to be thrilled in joining us, I'm sure. Omar Cooper Jr., IU wide receiver, is going to join us coming up at 5:30. Kenny Moore II on the show coming up tomorrow as well. I'll explain that and more. We're going to be live in Fishers at Joe's Grill, Larceny Bourbon Locks and Luna Azul Tequila Shots. Week 8 coming up tomorrow. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Ride with JMV.
Are you kidding?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Kevin Bowen, podcast 1075thefan.com. Tomorrow's show's in Fishers, Joe's Grill, Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots, week number 8. That's me and Nally and Miller and Brent Halverson, per usual, and you guys. Brook School Road, not too far from one of the more glorious Goodwill locations in central Indiana. Kenny Moore II is now added to the list coming up tomorrow. So he's going to, last time out was awesome. Remember Kenny Moore II and I in camp last August? That was good. And all you guys are ripping on me. Kenny Moore II tomorrow. Chase Briscoe of Mitchell, Indiana, the former Blue Jacket at NASCAR, going to join us coming up tomorrow as well. Mike Chappell's on the show tomorrow. I think Kevin Todd's back again for week number 2. This is from the text line of 317-239-1070. JV, I remember Mark Patrick was at Channel 8 and he would play Debbie Knox, You Make the Call. You know what's interesting about that? He brought it over to his afternoon show, of which I was the producer of from 2000 through 2004. And Debbie would come on and make picks. Debbie Knox, You Make the Call. It was glorious. And if you remember, he was also associated, Mark was back then, with Fox Sports Radio nationally. And they had weekly football pick'ems, and one season, at the time, and I guess still now, the former Hollywood Madam, Heidi Fleiss, came on weekly and made NFL picks. It was somewhere between holy crap and glorious. Heidi Fleiss came on weekly and made NFL picks on our show. And then, maybe the best, there was one particular week. She was at the time dating, I think he has passed away, actor Tom Sizemore. Tom Sizemore was in the film Saving Private Ryan, most notably. So she was dating Tom Sizemore at the time, and I think that there was some, stuff going on in the background when we called Heidi Fleiss to make her picks. And so while this was going on, Tom Sizemore kept, he actually grabbed the phone once and got all, it was something. It was something. I'm thinking, I wonder if that would ever happen again today. I mean, do you think there's anybody in Hollywood? I mean, you think it could, though, James, because there's so much now. I mean, you're a social media icon now. There's so much more fame that is easily found than it was back then, I guess. Heidi Fleiss. That's pretty funny.
Is there a recording of that somewhere?
There might be. I was trying to think of all the recordings that have been lost. There was one with me interviewing Roseanne. And I think I wanted that lost.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think I wanted that lost. I think I'm glad that was misplaced. And then obviously the one with Mark and Bill Polian and Jay Moore. And that was confiscated immediately. I don't know if the Heidi Fleiss, Tom Sizemore segment is anywhere. I'd have to ask. And I mean, hell, there's nobody around here. There's nobody in that building over there really any longer. It was just great stuff. But Debbie Knox, You Make the Call. But what I referenced to Kevin, there were two significant features of the NFL in the 80s, and in this case of IBM, the early 90s. That was Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes, and IBM presents You Make the Call. Now, famously, and there still may be, I don't know if Alcoa, I'm assuming it still exists, down in Newburgh, Indiana. It was a aluminum recycling, I believe, Alcoa. But the You Make the Call segment on the 21st of October, 1984, highlighted Raymond Butler and a deflection reception for a game-winning touchdown against the Steelers. And Jake could probably answer this as well. We'll have to add this to the crossover at some point. He could probably answer this. I felt that maybe that was the lone Colts highlights of like their first 5 seasons here. There was nothing else. And Kev was right. You could ask Pete Ward that and get a great answer. But the Monday night, Halloween night game, I mean, what was that, year 5 or 6 of the Colts being here? Year 5, maybe. But up until that point in time, the lone highlight that wasn't against the Colts defensively or, the defense of the other team turning the Colts offense into something, that lone highlight was Raymond Butler. I believe the pass was thrown by Mike Pagel back then. Well done right there with that recognition. So, JMV, what you're basically saying is that you are a time traveler since you clearly remember 1962. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, I remember Andy Griffith episodes. I don't remember exactly what happened in the year 1962, but with Andy Griffith episodes, I can come correct. Not too bad. Maybe. Time traveler. I was there too, JMV. I was there. First game attended, age 14, been hooked ever since. Brad Drake. That was the Colts and the Steelers. That's actually, I was there for the first game. I think that was the Colts and the Giants. This is the Colts and the Steelers, game number 6. 1984. JMV. 317-239-1070 is the text line number. AR and a 4th rounder to the Jets for Sauce Gardner. That will not happen. Ineffectiveness, injury. You know how it's going to end for Richardson. He's going to get released. That's how it's all going to end. JMV, what exactly are you hoping for regarding Miles Turner in game number 1 with the Bucs later on tonight? That is an interesting question that you ask. Now, on one hand, everybody's been out of shape, and for me, it's different than a lot of you. You've been out of shape because he defected to a division rival. I'm been out of shape for what he said when he left. However, I still think it's going to be noted that among the things this team will miss, the lack of 33 here will be significant. They have 4 guys, and you have zero idea what you're getting out of any of those 4 guys. And you did know, even though there was a disappearing act and a complete level of ineffectiveness for the most part in the NBA Finals, you knew what you were going to get most of the time in the face-up game and defensively, even when he wasn't knocking down shots or blocking shots. The threat was there. You had to pay attention to it if you were the opposition. Now, you don't have to give it any mind whatsoever until there's a reason for you to. And most notably, what you're going to notice on the defensive end is that there's going to be nobody, and I mean nobody, scared to drive it to the glass. If you finish above the rim, if you finish below the rim. Because that reputation is not there. That, to me, is going to be the biggest thing this team's going to have to deal with. I'll get back to my point, too, about an NBA team that pushes the limit in 7 games of the NBA Finals and gets 0 pub or props to start the next year. It is a very unique position, a very unusual position, but again, something that has benefited the Pacers in the past, and that is the complete lack of recognition, because this team has played better with a chip on its shoulder. It's going to be tough, but you should have a chip on your shoulder considering, again, the zero recognition for anything they accomplished last postseason. Unlike a team that was a runner-up in the NBA Finals we have ever seen. Now, there's an equation there. Injuries, defection, what have you, but it is unprecedented territory. That on the other side, Chad Buchanan, Pacers general manager, top of the hour. Omar Cooper Jr., IU wide receiver, bottom of the 5. The stream, the app, HD Radio, the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live. Become a AAA member today. Got your back 24/7, 365 on the open road. That's AAA.com. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
JMV, have you decided what you're going to dress up as on Halloween? What was it a year ago? A year ago, we were at the Depot in Greenfield. Remember the girls, Gina and Lindsay, dressed up, I think, 70s was? I was Gordon Gekko last year. Believe I had, at that point in time, dropped about 45 pounds. So I had about 45 more to go. But I went as Gordon Gekko in Wall Street. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I know we're going to have a live show on the 31st. That's Halloween at, you guys ready for this? Twin Peaks in Greenwood. So that should go over smashingly well. That's on Halloween the 31st. How about if I go as a tub of the spreadability? Win Schuler spreadability. What would I be? Would I be original cheddar, sharp cheddar, bacon and cheddar, or jalapeno pepper?
They have a tuna fish version of.
They're probably suggesting right now this is the worst promo that I've ever given them, Win Schulers. You're not going as a tub of Win Schulers. Win Schuler spreadability for elite level snacking. And again, let's just say you're going to grill out. Maybe not the best grilling weather ever, but it doesn't matter any longer because we love our grills. Slap your favorite on a burger and then thank me later. True story. Elite level snacking, the spreadability of Win Schuler's. Find it at your favorite Meijer location across the landscape of central Indiana. Gordon's Food Service as well. A lot of cottage cheese and big tubs of cottage cheese, too, in Gordon's. And if you see the spreadability of Win Schuler someplace else, let us know so I can let others know. Win Schuler's spreadability, that's elite level snacking. Now, Sunday, the Colts and the Titans available on our sister station 97. That's Country 97.1 Hank FM. That's when I start talking like this. Country and 97.1 Hank FM. The ride to kick off with me from bullseyeeventgroup.com and the Colts VIP tailgate. Now, that starts from 12:30 until 1:30 on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. And then the trio of stations were joined by Country 97.1 Hank FM and 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. That starts at 1:30 from Touchdown Town and the Colts pregame huddle. 97.1 Hank FM. Does that mean, do I have to talk up some country songs? Would you rather me talk up country songs of today or classic country songs? Now, if it's Clayton Anderson, that's different. We'd do it today.
I'm not really a country guy, but if I had to take a pick, I'd probably say classic country songs instead of the modern country.
Go with Johnny Cash?
I'd go for some Johnny Cash.
Do you like Johnny Cash and what he did with Hurt, the song Hurt?
Oh, I love that cover.
That's a great song. Whatever, there's an alternative station in this market that just voice tracks everything, right? What that means, they record everything about out of market 9 days prior. And I swear that song plays every 5 minutes.
It's a good song.
It's a great song. What was that, 2003, Johnny Cash and Hurt?
That sounds correct.
June Carter Cash passed away before Johnny Cash did, if memory serves. But if Hurt was a song, that's an original from 9 Inch Nails and Trent Reznor too, right? Hurt?
Yeah, and 2002 was Cash's cover.
I was close. Have you ever seen 9 Inch Nails and Trent Reznor?
I have not.
No. Why not? That sounds like that's right up your alley.
Kind of. I mean, I've never been the biggest 9 Inch Nails fan, honestly.
Before Greg Rakestraw and I knew one another, we were at that show at the State Fairgrounds. I want to say back in 1994 because the Jim Rose Circus Sideshow opened up for 9 Inch Nails.
So you've seen 9 Inch Nails.
I have seen 9 Inch Nails.
Interesting.
I love the song Head Like a Hole.
They put on a good show?
Yeah. I mean, it's dark and it's Reznor,
yeah,
but I think Reznor's genius.
He is, yeah.
I mean, some of it is a little bit too. Like I tried to play closer on the JMV takeover a couple of times, and you can only. I want to like an animal and beep that out so many times.
It's a tough choice for the
Sean Copeland's
takeover.
at home going, "Oh my God, what's this guy doing? What's he doing to my station?" But nah, that was a good show. That's back in '94, I believe it was. At the look up Jim Rose Circus Sideshow, and then you can get mad at me later for that. That's some stuff you can never unsee. Let me tell you. Good opener. All right, quick break. We'll come back. It is Chad Buchanan, Pacers general manager. They embark upon the start of the season tomorrow night at home against the Thunder. We'll talk about the Pacers to start the season and a season without, but a season of opportunity for many. Chad Buchanan, Pacers GM, joins us coming up on the other side. Omar Cooper Jr., IU wide receiver, the former Lawrence North standout, joins us coming up at 5:30. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
He's my best friend. He's my pal. He's my homeboy, my rotten soldier. He's my sweet cheese, my good time boy.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Omar Cooper Jr., IU wide receiver, bottom of the hour. Kenny Moore the second. Chase Briscoe. Coming up tomorrow, we're in Fisher's tomorrow. Joe's Grill, Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, let's not make him wait. Friend of the show, Pacers general manager, as the start of the season is on the inbound tomorrow evening, Gainbridge Fieldhouse. A rematch of the NBA Finals of a year ago, even though with the hype of the television coverage, you don't even recognize now the Pacers were a part of the finals a year ago, but they indeed were in 7 games. And that rematch tomorrow night with the Thunder and the Pacers, and the general manager, Chad Buchanan, joins us now. Hello, Chad. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, John?
Great to have you back on this show. It's about time.
I always love talking hoops with you. You know that.
I love me some hoops. I'm excited about it. I can't help myself because with a lot of the doom and gloom with the Halliburton injury, with a defection and the injuries to start the season, the ridiculous hard-ass schedule at the beginning too, and just maybe a bit of a hangover for going so deep into the season, the limits in 7 games of the NBA Finals. I can't help myself because so much of this group returns, and to me, it was so awesome what they accomplished a year ago. I honestly can't wait until tomorrow night.
I think we're all in the same boat as you. I think we all just love the game of basketball, whether it's October or June. Our players, our staff, our coaches, they're ready to go. This is what we love to do. This is what we were. Enjoyed coming to work every day and be together and try to accomplish a goal together. That's the fun part of being in the NBA, and I think all of our guys are ready to go tomorrow.
It doesn't matter. Personnel-wise, this group here has always responded really well, I think, to the so-called motivational chip or the slides. And I was there for Media Day, and Aaron Neesmith had mentioned that as well. They always get a little bit more juiced up about it. And it would seem like, especially, Chad, at the start of the season, there's going to be a lot of juice to be had, motivationally speaking, because there's not a lot of conversation unless it's that of injuries, defections, and such around this team to start. So that motivation should be there.
I totally agree. I think, like you mentioned, that this group has responded when they feel slighted and they feel disrespected. And, not that, last year's accomplishment has gone completely unnoticed, but I feel like, everybody's kind of turned the page. And we have to turn the page, too, on that as well. But I think we can take from what's, being said about us or not said about us as, a chance to give a little fuel to the fire. And ultimately, it comes down to what you do on the court, no matter how motivated you got to get from what somebody says or doesn't say. We got to go out there and prove it on the court starting tomorrow night.
All right, we will start with some injuries too, because we know, obviously, and we discussed that the Halliburton situation. The thing that concerns me would be the start of the season when Rick, for example, was talking about by committee. And I've never been a fan of any committee. By committee, backup point guard, by committee, you're 5, trying to find exactly, the best route to take here. Those are concerns of mine. Are these all things that you expect through guys getting back healthy again, and then especially at the 5 position? Do you expect all this to kind of sort itself out? And, how long do you think it will take to find out exactly what you have at those positions?
Yeah, you're talking specifically about the center spot. It's an unknown. It's absolutely an unknown. You don't know what each player is going to do, if they're going to take a jump forward, if they're going to take a level off to what they've always been. You're hopeful that one or a couple of those guys really kind of take the next step in their growth and development. And one thing that I believe in our staff and Coach Carlisle and his crew is they are great at developing and maximizing what each player brings. So. It's not, you'd like to have a sure-cut answer at the starting center spot when you enter the season, but, that's kind of one of the challenges in front of us. And to say we know what it's going to play out as, it's impossible to say. I just know those guys are all anxious for the opportunity, and whether they can take advantage of it, it's kind of, time will tell on that one. But hopeful that we can get 1 or 2 of those guys to really blossom this year for us.
What has Isaiah Jackson shown you, for example, Chad, since his return from injury?
Well, I think when coming off such a serious injury, you're hopeful that he has the movement, that he moves, north, south, left, right, vertically like he used to. And I think he's slowly getting there. If you would have seen him, 2 months ago and see him today, you see the progress, and you see every day a little more, bounce off the floor, a little more speed, quickness, and things like that. So that's really the one thing you want to see come off a major injury. But some is him getting accustomed to playing with guys that he doesn't always play with. He was always playing, off our bench, so he wasn't playing with some of these guys. He was never playing next to Pascal, but very, very limited minutes. So getting accustomed to your surroundings and who you're on the floor with will take a little time for him. But very encouraged by what he's seen, what he's done physically right now. It's just got the basketball component and the fit with the guys around him is what's next for his next progress.
Same can be said, and the same question regarding the return of James Wiseman from what you've witnessed so far.
Yeah, I think James looks fantastic. Athletically, he's running. I just had a conversation with the other night. I said, I feel like you run faster now than you did before the injury, and he spent a lot of time, as did Isaiah, a lot of hours getting his body back ready to play in an NBA game. And, James is still learning our system. He missed a whole season not being able to be on the court and gel and, get synchronized with how we play. And so that takes a player time. Our system's not an easy one and just throw somebody out there and they can figure it out real quickly. We demand a lot of our players. We demand a lot physically and also mentally. It's a very cerebral game that we play, and we value guys that can really think the game. And James has got to just be out there and be around the way we play and get adjusted, because this is a whole new style of basketball for James.
Yes, Chad Buchanan, Pacer general manager. They start the season coming up tomorrow night right here on the Fan versus the OKC Thunder. How long had you had your eyeball on Jay Huff prior to making that move?
Well, you watched him in college a little bit, and you thought maybe down the road there, could be a guy that could play at the professional level. And then he gets in the G League, and he actually had a very good game against our G League team, the Mad Ants, in the playoffs a few years ago. And that was really, really signified to us that he's making growth. And as we watched him, the next couple stops, and specifically last year, I thought he really took a jump with his growth and his play. And we're looking for a stretch five, out there that we could either trade for or sign. And we felt like his age fit, the majority of our group, his play style fit the way we played. And the shooting part, that's the thing we need from him. We need him to just catch and shoot. When he gets an opportunity, just let it fly and really simplify what he does, because he's got a beautiful stroke.
All right. So if there is, I don't know how to put this. I don't want to sound like a backhanded compliment to anybody else, but talking about Jay Huff here, is he the one that you could view as more accomplished as being a face-up threat and then a rim protection threat? Because that's what concerns me more than anything else. You can sort out who's going to end up or, in what group's going to give you that production, but the reputation to start the season isn't going to be there. And that's what's going to be so different. Is he as close to anybody else to be able to replicate what you're going to be missing and what you've had for the past 10 years, basically in that capacity?
I'd say from the shooting piece, yes, he's the closest of our four centers right now. Obviously, he is. I think the rim protection part, I think Isaiah gives you some of that as well. Neither one of them have the size and that Miles brought to us, but I do think there's some advantages to those guys that we'll have to tap into that we didn't have before. But we're gonna have to be really connected as a group defensively. And I thought last year by the last third of the season, especially, we were as connected as we've ever been, and about as much as any team in the NBA. And credit to Denny Busick and Jim Boylan, who oversee our defense, for getting that unit and that group to be so connected. And that's a big, big reason. You can talk about all the ties, shots, and Pascal and how we were scoring points, but our defense was a huge, huge part of our success last season. And we've got to be tight together and physical and help each other on the defensive side again this year.
Chad Buchanan of the Pacers with us, 7:30, that tip time tomorrow night against the Thunder at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. We saw a lot of Obi Toppin running with the group as the five. We're going to see even more of that. Would that be surprising if that doesn't factor in early this season?
I think you saw success with that last year, like you mentioned. I think you'll see some of that this season as well, depending on, night to night, what the best matchup is. And what group is playing well. But Obi's shown the versatility to play both positions. It makes us faster. It makes us more athletic. It gives us a shooting component at the 5 spot. Obviously, you're a little smaller with Obi at the 5, and you got to be, gang rebound and really help each other around the basket. But that lineup did have some success last year, and I could see Coach Carlisle trying that again this year with that group.
So, Chad, I thought really the best defense was a great offense, and I've said this about the Colts here recently too, but the reason why I bring that up is I think in large part the best defense for the Pacers also relies upon their pace of play. And I know on Tuesday that Rick had mentioned to the morning show that they may want to play even faster. How would you expect us to view the pace of play at the beginning compared to where you guys ultimately want to be? And we have trust in Nembhard, don't get me wrong, but you don't have TJ McConnell for a little bit here to start the season. What should we expect to see pace of play-wise with this group?
Well, when you talk pace of play, I think it's natural to think that it's a lot of fast break. And there is some of that, but I think when we talk about our pace of play, it's how much the ball moves. We led the league in passes last year. I think I'd be surprised if we're not at or near the top again this year. And I think you'll have to see even more of that this year. The ball swinging from side to side, pitched ahead. There's going to be a lot of, reversal of the basketball to try and find an advantage. But it's Ty was so good at making quick decisions. And, Drew has a different style of play, but Drew is just as cerebral as Ty with the ball in his hands. He just does a little different way. And but I do expect us to play with the same, ball movement, share the ball, play, throw it ahead, pitch it ahead style of play offensively. And, you miss the kind of closer component with Tyrese, but it also creates opportunity for some other guys to have that option to, hey, let me go finish a game. Let me make a big shot. And I think we have candidates who can do that for us.
Will Andrew Nembhard still be able to go, full court on the D, the pressure on the best wing player that has to offer on the other side, also while running the team in that capacity and looking to score? There's a lot on a guy's plate right there.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a terrific player on both sides of the ball. It's a lot to ask to have to go guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, then have Lou Dort guard you at the other end of the court with the ball. So, I think our coaches are going to have to find a way to balance how much workload we put on him. But, he brings so much to the table as a defender, but we're going to ask more of him on the offensive side. So we need some of the other guys to rally as defenders, and we're going to ask more of Benedict to guard some, high-level perimeter players that can score the ball. And, I think Benedict wants a challenge like that. And, Drew's already proven that he can have success doing that, but we need others. The more guys that we can have to defend, the better our defense is going to be.
Chad Buchanan with the tremendous segue, because he knew exactly where I was going with Benedict Mathurin coming up. The Pacer general manager joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. 7 o'clock pregame coverage tomorrow. 7:30 is that tip time from the field house. So give me, you just kind of mentioned Mathurin on the defensive end, and I swear I've not even mentioned that so far, and I should have, and that makes good sense. But what do you expect to see from him? I mean, growth, evolution, offensively, defensively, what do you expect to see?
Well, first of all, I expect to see a very motivated player because he knows there's opportunity in front of him this season. But I think as a team, we want to see him fit in seamlessly with the way we've played. And I think so far, training camp, preseason, we've seen a lot of positive glimpses of that. Now, you get into the gut of a season and maybe your team is struggling or you're struggling as an individual. Can you stick to, the program? Can you stay to the way we're playing? And Vendek's very capable of it. He's obviously a very, very gifted scorer. And finding a way to do that within the way we play to help us win is the next step of his growth. And, we communicate with him that all the time. And I think he wants it as bad as anybody. I think of all the guys on our team that feel disrespected, I think he probably feels it the most because, I think he feels like he's going to step in and really be a big part of our team this year. And he can help us stay, competitive in the Eastern Conference.
So, Chad Buchanan with us. What ultimately compelled you, and obviously he has earned it, we'll start right there, but with the 2-year extension with Aaron Nesmith, and then also with that in mind, did you ever expect him to be able to elevate his game to the position in which it is right now?
Well, I'll start, the first part of your question. This sounds like, GM speak or whatever, but there's certain players that you feel really good about rewarding and, compensating, and Aaron Nesmith is one of those. He is absolutely what an Indiana Pacer is all about. From day one, he has been unselfish. He's been gritty. He's been tough. He's been all about embracing his role. He's found a way to fit with our best players. He plays with passion and energy and just reckless abandon every night. And you need that during 82 games, because on a Tuesday night in late January and you're in Milwaukee and, guys are tired and they're looking at the All-Star break, Aaron Nesmith is bringing it. And he is bringing it just like he did on opening night. And so to reward him with an extra couple of years is a no-brainer for us as an organization, because he fits our timeline with our core of our group. He's proven to be a starter on a team that contended for a championship, and his character is just as exemplary as it can get. So, and then the second part of your question, I think I maybe told you this before. When I think back to Aaron in college at Vanderbilt, it's really remarkable how he's evolved as a player, because in college he was a guy who they ran off a lot of screens and tried to get him a bunch of threes, and he was a scorer. He's a straight jump shooting two guard. And once he got to the NBA, he's evolved into what we see today. He's this hard-nosed, tough-minded, gritty, defensive-minded, physical wing that can just shoot the lights out of it. So he's really, to his credit, he's figured out where he can succeed in this league, and he's jumped on that role and embraced it, and just I don't think he'll ever look back, and I think the best days are still in front of him.
I'm going to give you full credit for the scout right here, but I'm just curious, how did you ever see that, considering how he was collegiately and the complete lack of clock, and rightly so, that he received in Boston? Is it a situation where you really didn't know what you had until it started to evolve here in this system?
Well, the credit goes to our coaches. I mean, Coach Carlisle and our staff to recognize how he could play with the way we wanted to play, how we fit with Tyrese, and really getting him to understand, hey, you can have a big-time career and have a major, major role with this team moving forward if you can do these specific things. And Aaron's a very, very bright young man, and he embraced all those roles that were put in front of him. And, I think we were hopeful that he could, we were looking for shooting, and that's something that Rick really values, and we were looking at guys that maybe were not getting an opportunity in other places. That's something we've always tried to look for, and Aaron fit the mold. He's stuck behind two All-Stars there in Boston, and we liked him in college coming into the draft. And like I said, credit to Coach Carlisle and our coaches for turning Aaron, into the player that he is with our system.
It is Chad Buchanan, Pacers general manager. Season starts 7:30 tomorrow night. Thunder and the Pacers at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. It appears that both Johnny Furphy and Jarris Walker, who had been listed as day-to-day, are going to be good to go, according to Rick, coming up tomorrow night. And you kind of described the motivation earlier of Benedict Mather, and on that familiar scale, Jarris Walker has a great deal of motivation and a huge opportunity to show out early this season as well. What's your expectation there?
He does have a great opportunity. He's a young player that the last couple of years, when he got his opportunity, I think he felt pressure to try to make something happen in his minutes, however long those were on the floor. And sometimes that, resulted in, a great game. Sometimes it resulted in, turnovers and a player who maybe lost some confidence. So I think 2 years of experience and, getting to see and be a part of what we had last year should be valuable for him. And I think he understands what our coaches want from him. He understands what, he can bring to this team, how he fits with some of our other, core players. And it's time for him to shine. There's no other way to say it. He's got to show some fight every night. He's got to show some physicality every night. And he knows that there's things that he can do that nobody else on our team can do. So we need Jarris to show some, consistency and growth this year, because, he's got all the talent to do it.
We saw a rookie, and I bring it up because I know him and I like him a great deal, a rookie second-round selection, get some clock, get some run in that initial game last night for the Thunder, and Brooks Barnhizer. He's going to be here coming up tomorrow night. But Taylor Peter, another rookie second rounder that I'm expecting gets probably even more run. Where is he going to be in the grand scheme of things coming off the bench? And is he going to be maybe at least early on until further notice a lot of what we're going to witness at the backup one?
It's kind of funny. Rick was telling us during one of our preseason games where we had all these injuries going on with our point guards, and he grabbed Talon during the game, actually during a break in the game, and said, "Have you ever played point guard before?" and Talon said, "No, but I'd be glad to try. I'm willing to try." So he's been a very pleasant surprise for us. We knew he could shoot. We thought he'd fit with our system. We're putting him in a different position now to have to handle the ball, and we were talking to him yesterday. A year ago, he's come off the bench for Liberty as a two guard. Now he's, could be getting minutes tomorrow night, having to bring the ball up the court against Lou Dort and Kason Wallace and some of these great ball hawkers. But the one thing about Talon that's really been evident so far for all of us is just his steady approach to every day. He doesn't get rattled when he makes a mistake or misses a shot, and he just keeps playing. And his composure, we're serving him well. And this is a challenge for him to have to play some point guard position. And that's not obviously what we drafted him for, but circumstances right now have pushed him into that, position. And I think you'll probably see him have to, do some things tomorrow night that he's never had to do before other than, this week in practice. And, but he's got teammates that are going to be with him. We're going to stand by his side. There's going to be mistakes. But he's just got to keep playing. That's one thing that he's done very well is he just keeps playing through everything that goes on. That's a very valuable trait for a rookie player to have in our league.
What's going to be the biggest challenge for him? Is it going to be offensively or defensively when he gets thrust into a situation that's going to be that new? I mean, you go 0 to 60 in a big hurry right here with that learning curve in mind. What's going to be the biggest challenge for him, you think, early on?
Yeah, I think defensively he's been very, very good. Like he does a great job of walling up the ball. Guys will try to attack him, and his first step is, beats guys in the spots pretty regularly. I think it's going to be the offensive side. There's so much you got to think through and see as playing the point guard and handling the ball as much as we're going to ask him to probably do. That'll be the biggest challenge. And like I said, you're putting a championship team who had the best defense in the league last year out there in front of you, and learning to make a quick decision and really just take care of the ball. That's hard for a young guard, whether you're a lottery pick or the late second round pick, and learn how to take care of the ball and just make a simple read is what we need him to do tomorrow night. And I think he's a guy who's a quick learner. I think he's picked up a lot in the short time we've had him playing some point guard position, and I think he'll learn as much in the games as he has in practice.
So, Chad Buchanan, before I let you go, I did want to ask you about T.J. McConnell. I think it was November the 9th when you will at least reevaluate and check out his situation. I would expect that, given he's not old to me, but given his age and especially how he plays and what makes him such a valuable player is his pace of play. And you don't want that compromised at all. And you certainly don't want that in the future compromised. So I'm assuming you're going to be extra careful in when you decide to run him back from this injury, right?
For sure. I mean, the hamstrings, the groins, the calves, those muscles you don't want to push too hard. You want to be really confident that you're over the injury because they're high risk of re-injury, those muscles are. And the older you get, the more likely, you're going to deal with some of those injuries. And TJ's, he's 33 now, and but we will be very, very diligent. We have the best medical staff in the NBA. They've been treating TJ, and they have a plan in place, and he's progressing. He's still got a lot of benchmarks to clear before he's ready to play. But the NBA season, once the train leaves the station, they don't wait on anybody. So
no.
But he'll be ready. And we'll get him back out there, and have a plan in place to kind of ease him back in and get him back firing on all cylinders because he's a huge, huge part of our team.
Man, I'm glad basketball's back. I'm excited. I really am.
John, I'm surprised you haven't asked me about wanting the media versus the coaches pickup game that you're seeing some of these other teams doing.
Uh-oh. Does that mean something may be put together here at some point?
That is the exact opposite, because if you were going to ask me, I was going to say, I feel pretty comfortable with you out there, but some of your other media partners, I'd be a little concerned about it might be a little inhumane to put him out there.
Yeah, that's
not
true.
only in front of some of our coaches, but our players would just roast them from the sidelines in a setting like that. So I would hate to do that to some of those guys because they're good guys.
I would love to do it to those guys. I think that'd be pretty funny. No, I would love to. I thought that I thought my matchup would be with Pargo. Would he go for that?
You don't want that matchup, John. I'm just telling you right now. You would be.
The guy, he hadn't played in a while. I feel comfortable. I played last night.
You would need counseling after that matchup. Trust me. Gennaro Pargo can get a bucket on anybody walking the face of the earth.
I may not be able to guard him, but man, I would. I'd stick it to the ego when I knock down a jumper in his grill.
You might be able to do that. I'd give you a little credit for that. It's the other end of the court that might be a little rough for you.
It's problematic against anybody, me on the other end there. There's no doubt about that. So so no chance, huh? And you're saying that for the sake of my colleagues in the industry, is what you're saying.
I'm afraid so.
I'm
afraid so. You know, I was warned I might get asked that question, so I wanted to kind of proactively squash that option.
I wasn't thinking about it until you brought it up. I was like, yeah, full bore, 100% on the team, but I'm glad you brought that up. I appreciate that. I'm going to still try, though, and I'm still coming over there to ring that bell at some point.
Hey, we'd love to have you over. It's ringing pretty regularly at our practices, so let's.
Is it really?
Let's get you over.
Who's ringing it the most right there?
Oh gosh, I feel like
not Pargo. Is Pargo ringing it? I don't want Pargo to ring it if he's going to put it in my grill. Don't have that.
Gennaro can ring it pretty regularly. Today's his birthday. Today's his birthday, by the way.
Yes.
Too, so happy birthday!
Happy birthday to him. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Hey, it's a pleasure to have you on here. I look forward to seeing you down there. And hey, if you see him, say hello to our good friend Brooks Barnheiser on the other side as a rookie from Northwestern. He is a friend of mine and a friend of the show, and we are incredibly proud of his efforts, even if he is playing for the opposition coming up tomorrow night here in front of a lot of friends and family. So it's pretty cool story to see. Hey, buddy, appreciate you hopping on here. We shall do this again soon. The best of luck to you, and let's have some fun playing some hoop.
Thanks, John. I appreciate you, man.
Got it. It's Chad Buchanan, Pacers GM on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I'll get back to a lot of what he said in a second, but we do have IU wide receiver coming up here. Are you guys ready for this? Omar Cooper Jr. from LN. Great season. He joins us next.
Johnny, don't! David Letterman!
Hi, David. I'm Grandpa.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Chad Buchanan, Pacers GM podcast, 1075thefan.com. Joining us now, UCLA in town on Saturday. That's a noon kick from Bloomington. From LN, wide receiver who's had a fantastic season along with this IU offense so far. Omar Cooper Jr. is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Omar, thank you for the time. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I can't complain. How about you?
IU ranks second in the nation. I want to go all the way back to the transition in coaching. And you did choose to stay in Bloomington, and it has worked out fantastically for you. Were you ever on the fence with that decision, or were you locked into Curt Cignetti and his era beginning from the very start in Bloomington?
If I'm being honest, I was definitely on the fence. After my sophomore year, the year Tom Allen got fired, I was already considering like entering the portal after the year. But I feel like the Lord, he had a better plan for me. And I had got hurt against Wisconsin, rolled my ankle, which caused me to be out the rest of the year. So it didn't allow me to get the stats that I wanted or felt like I needed to hit the portal. So that's kind of what caused me to stay. And I'm honestly very grateful that he made me stay and that he allowed me to go through what I went through just to still be here.
Man, I rolled my ankle, and there's nothing good about that. You roll yours, and it turned out to be the best decision of your life right there.
Yes, you did.
That is incredible. What was it with Curt Cignetti? You know, the dialogue, what he was bringing. I mean, all that he brought that really put you on board with this program to ultimately get you to where you are right now, the second-ranked team in the nation.
Honestly, just like his mindset. He has like he says all the time, a relentless mindset. Like no matter what's going on with the team, no matter what's going on, he's just going to continue to push us, make sure that we don't get complacent, make sure we don't feel like we've done something just because we've won 5 games, 7 games. He's gonna make sure that we still feel like we 0-0 and just want us to continue to compete no matter who's the team we're going against, no matter if they're undefeated, no matter if they haven't won a game. He wants us to play to an expectation, and if we don't play to that, he's going to get on us. So that is just the biggest part that has helped me see why we've been so successful.
He is Omar Cooper Jr. of IU. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. A noon start coming up on Saturday against UCLA down in Bloomington. How much of his bravado, of his confidence, also gives, I guess, transitions from him and what he says to you and your game and what you're trying to accomplish on the field?
It just allows me to play more confident and more free, knowing that I have a coach who's standing behind me and knowing that he trusts us enough to put us in the position that we're in. So knowing that he's not going to put us in anything wrong or put us in the wrong position to make a mistake. So knowing that, it just allows me, like I said, to play free and just to trust in him and trust in what he calls for us.
Are there 3 better wide receivers in college football? And I know that you want to talk up all your teammates, but in this case, we'll start with in you and Elijah here as well. But you got 3, I think, altogether, a trio, I think, if you want to look at it, of the best wide receivers in the country. Is that how you view yourselves?
I would say yes and no. Obviously, we obviously look at ourselves as the best trio, but we don't want to feel like that's just given to us. We feel like we got to go out there and earn it and prove that we're the best trio. So that's why I say yes and no, but I'm just glad that we all out there showcasing our abilities and knowing that it's not just one person or 2, it's all 3 of us. So it's going to be trouble and harder for the defense to scheme up against us.
You had a great year last year, too. with a different quarterback, Curtis Rourke, and now Fernando Mendoza is the quarterback. Give me some of the differences in what we saw a year ago with your offense from that position and how it relates to you and your teammates compared to Mendoza and this season so far, Omar.
I would say they're both really smart quarterbacks. Curtis was a little more limited with his injury that nobody really knew he had, which is impressive to me.
Yeah, it is.
But I would say Fernando has a better arm. A better deep ball. He can throw it. Fernando can throw it further than Curtis. And then just like Curtis knew where to put the ball, how to put the ball. Fernando knows where to put the ball and when to put the ball. So it's kind of similar, but like there's a little bit of differences in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting because they both lead by great example. And you mentioned Curtis playing through injuries and pain a year ago. And how remarkable that is. I mean, from the outside looking in, I mean, that had to really amp you guys up as well because last year he went out and did what he did playing under those injury circumstances.
Yes, it definitely did. It made me look at Curtis a whole different person, a whole different player. The fact that he went out there the whole year with that injury and didn't come out to practice complaining ever say nothing. He just went out there and balled and just continued to lead us. It just made me look at him a whole different way. And I'm just grateful to have such a tough quarterback like Curtis to play on our team last year.
He is Omar Cooper Jr. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Did you hear the crowd chanting Fernando Heis Mendoza during the end of the game last weekend?
Yes, I caught a glimpse of it. I definitely did.
It is interesting to see how this offense goes, and it looks like it is playing at the highest level. Is this the best offense that you have been a part of, even going back to last year, what we're talking about here, as far as clicking at its highest level presently?
Yes, personally, I would say yes. Because kind of like I said about Curtis, he kind of was limited on doing a certain amount of things. So the fact that Mendoza's healthy and he's a little more athletic than Curtis, it allows us to add more plays that we weren't able to have last year. And so I feel like that's what makes this the best offense that I've played in since I've been in college.
Are you shocked? You go back to that rolled ankle Wisconsin game, you stayed, and you look where you were at that moment compared to where you are with your teammates, second ranked in the nation at this moment. I mean, it is awesome for everybody, but does it still take a little bit of getting used to, or is this something that over the past 2 years now at this high level of play with Curt Cignetti, you've just come to expect?
I wouldn't say shocked. Honestly, I would say I'm truly blessed and grateful that I'm in this position. But I would say definitely kind of expect with Curt Cignetti and just like his past records and just how he coaches us and pushes us to be the best players that we can be each and every day. So it just it leads me to just knowing and trusting that he knows what he's talking about. So I'm not even surprised by what has happened this year.
It has been absolutely fantastic. Now, you're from Indian and Lawrence North High School. We know that. Are you a Colts fan?
No, sadly, I'm not.
Oh, well, because the reason I want to bring that up, because, I mean, they're starting out great. They're 6-1. You guys are unbeaten. We're talking about the Colts have been good before, but, I mean, this is a level of IU football, and I've been a multi-decade IU football fan. I have never seen this. It is absolutely incredible. And you see the fans just kind of gravitate to you, right? The excitement level, everybody that packs the stadium, nobody leaves. That's going to be gratifying for you, Omar.
Yeah, it definitely is. Because, kind of like you said, just nobody leaves. My freshman, sophomore year, we'd be losing second quarter, third quarter, and you'll start to see how empty the crowd really gets. And now it's just people staying to the fourth quarter, even if we blowing the team out. It's just it's amazing to see how things have changed over the past few years.
It's the way that it is in sports to be better. I mean, you've been growing as an athlete over the years. Is it always, even with the IU football program, it's certainly going to be this way until further notice. Is it always about week after week proving yourself, even if you are second ranked? Is that what Curt Cignetti does? He keeps you grounded, and you're always striving to improve yourself, no matter what your record might show or your ranking might show?
Yes, he definitely does that. I would say he does that just because you know how we're Indiana and we're not expected to win. So the fact that we're winning, we got to continue to prove it. We can't just settle down or be complacent and happy with winning the past game when we still got future games and we still got a game this upcoming week, which is a big one because it's the next one. So that just allows us to continue to get another opportunity to prove ourselves and prove what we're capable of.
That is Omar Cooper Jr. right there. I should mention that a former Hooper at Lawrence North High School played in the championship game. I believe that was that 2022, Omar, when you played?
No, that was 2021.
2021. All right. Well, at any rate, I hear some glorious stories about your hoop game, and I've often wondered, there was a decision to be made. Was it always going to be football, or did basketball ever kind of rear its head thinking there was an opportunity at the next level playing hoop?
It was, for me, honestly, it was always going to be football. Yeah. For like my skills and like how I played when it came to being on the court, I wasn't tall enough at all to play in college. So like once I got my first offer in my sophomore year from football, I kind of knew that was going to be my go-to, and that was going to be my way of going to college for sports. But if I was my dad height or a little bit taller, I definitely would have tried to play basketball because I loved playing basketball more than football.
Hey, awesome dude, man. Thanks for coming on here. We'll have to do this again. Really good conversation. Enjoyed your athleticism in high school and certainly now watching you play. And UCLA coming up at noon on Saturday. That is the next test for the second-ranked Hoosiers. It's Omar Cooper Jr., IU wide receiver on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Hey, stay healthy, keep it going, and let's do this again soon, okay, Omar?
Yes, sir. Let's do this again.
You got Omar Cooper Jr. of IU on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. You've got IU UCLA coming up on Saturday. That kickoff is at noon down in Bloomington. Quick break. We'll come back. A lot more for you on this Wednesday. Don't go anywhere. Stream the app, HD Radio, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Stay right there. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Ride with JMV.
We're not going to fall for a banana in the tailpipe.
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
It should be more natural, brother. It should flow out like this. Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Harris Hoosier Park race of the day. 50 in betting, 50 in dining to Lee Adams with the winning horse, General Grant. Paid $2.40 on a $2 bet. The $2 exacta was $6.80. 50-cent trifecta, $7.40. Tuesday through Friday, we do it. You get a horse as I send them out on X, and somebody gets 50 in betting and 50 in dining, courtesy of Harris Hoosier Park. Racing and Casino in Anderson, where horse racing goes on now through November. That's Harris Hoosier Park, the race of the day. Alex Caruso for the Thunder off the bench last night sustained a concussion during the game. So he is in concussion protocol, which clearly no participation tomorrow night when the Pacers open up against the Thunder at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. That's certainly interesting as we see the Pacers open against OKC coming up tomorrow. Wenschuler spreadability, too. That's also interesting. Original sharp cheddar bacon and cheddar and jalapeno pepper. Wenschuler spreadability, your favorite Meijer location and Gordon's Food Service. You'll find it. Make sure you go elite level snacking with the spreadability of Wenschulers for the fall of 2025. Tomorrow, Joe's Grill, we're going to be in Fishers, Brook School Road with a loaded show. Kenny Moore II, Chase Briscoe, Brett Halverson, Ryan Nally, Ryan Miller, Mike Chappell, and me and you with, telling you, speaking of elite level, samples going on. Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots tomorrow starting at 3. Fishers, Brook School Road. That is at Joe's Grill. Cannot wait to see you there. Our thanks to Omar Cooper Jr., who was outstanding from LN, that podcast, 1075thefan.com. All right, I see him waiting here. Give me Fulton at 239-1070. Hello, Fulton.
Well, hello, John. How are you?
Hello, tonight? Fulton. How are you?
Been busy. I was supposed to have a interview with DJ Skids today, but we canceled the interview today.
What happened with DJ Skids?
Well, he was working today, so he's trying to think of what day or what time would that work. So.
Well, I'll get him motivated on Sunday when I see him.
Okay, sure, because I need him on my show, and you're welcome to come on to see me on there. But we don't know when we're having the tickets for Singing in the Rain, the musical yet.
Yes.
I think it might be in the first week of November.
First week of November.
Yep.
Awesome. Hey, Fulton, good to hear from you, pal.
Yeah, good to hear from you, John. I will talk to you soon.
You got it. Fulton right there to close. Omar Cooper Jr. of IU. Chad Buchanan, Pacers General Manager. Kevin Bowen, The Fan Morning Show. Andrew Catalan of CBS. Podcast across the board, including Matt Painter from yesterday, head coach of the #1 ranked Boilermakers. 1075thefan.com. As I mentioned tomorrow, Chase Briscoe off the top of the show. Kenny Moore II, Mike Chappell, Brent Halverson, Nally Miller, Joe's Grill, Brook School in Fishers. Week 8, Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. Cannot wait to see you all tomorrow. Maybe even at Goodwill over near Geist before we go out there too tomorrow. Going to be a fun time. Joe's Grill and Fishers. We start tomorrow at 3. I want to see you all there. Thanks for listening. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Have a great night.